What's going on, guys? Brock with Bassin 227 here. Man, it has been a while since I've been on here. Boy, but what better time than to kind of kickstart my new campaign to kind of get this channel back up and going. I had a lot of ambitions on really growing my channel. A lot of things have kind of happened along the way that have kind of hindered me. But, you know, going forward, we're going to be rocking and rolling with some content. I'm actually going to be doing something special with my channel this year. My oldest, who is just getting into fishing, he's going to be doing some videos with me as well, and I could not be more excited for that. He's really picked up the passion for fishing, whether it be for bluegill, which is what he mainly fishes for. He's definitely hooked into some pretty good bass, but I'm super excited about kind of taking you guys along with that journey to just continue to grow his love and passion for fishing. So, you know, be on the lookout for upcoming videos, getting out and doing some fishing. Not sure kind of from the start, really, with everything going on, how many videos I'm going to do with him, just because I'm not really wanting to get him out too much, but it's going to be super exciting. My youngest, you'll probably see him in some videos too. He likes to fish, he just doesn't have the patience, so it's going to be fun to kind of take you guys along on that development journey with them. So I'm glad to be back. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do. Really trying to grow this thing. Really kind of changed my whole pattern from the beginning. You know, I used to fish tournaments. I don't fish tournaments anymore. I didn't have the time with my work schedule that I was doing in my previous job, that it kind of had to pull me away from it. But so I've cut ties with a lot of what I've been doing, and I've really been spending these last few years kind of just testing a bunch of different products and really finding, you know, what do I like, what do I don't like, and really kind of fine-tuning everything that I feel is going to be tailor-made to me and to how I fish and help build my confidence. So with that, I want to take this video and talk about Missile Jigs. If you haven't heard about Missile Jigs, they're a jig that is made by Missile Baits, company owned by John Crews. Great company. If you haven't checked out the D-Bomb, definitely check that thing out. That thing is a flipping machine. One of my favorite flipping baits. So it's a great company. Great minds got together to really help design this jig. Actually, both of them, because I'm going to talk about two of them today. So John Crews, Mike Iaconelli, they got together and they put together a couple jigs that for me have increased my confidence in jig fishing, and they've really just boosted the amount of fish that I'm catching, which has helped my confidence even more. You know, over the past few years, I fished a lot of jigs. It's my number one technique to fish, and I've really spent a lot of time trying to figure out, okay, does this one work? Does this one work? Do I like how this one feels? You know, do I get the confidence that I do with some other jigs? And, you know, I've used some that are really good, and I've used some that are just flat out duds. But I'm here to tell you, Missile Jigs is the real deal. And I've been fishing these solely for about a year and a half to really give them some time to really make sure, you know, is this the jig for me? Is it hitting all my check boxes to what I need out of a jig? And it's pretty much hit every box that I've got. There's only one thing about the jig that I shouldn't say not a fan of, but That is my only thing I wish maybe they would do a little different, but they really don't even need to do it different because I love it just the way it is. So the first jig I'm going to talk about is the Ike's flipping jig. As you can see here, one thing that's pretty unique about this is the head design. It's kind of like almost like a ball head. It's got a nice recessed line tie there, a nice VMC super sharp hook, and you've got the weed guard here. Well, this is a flipping jig. You know, my only somewhat of a complaint here is this weed guard, but again, it's not necessarily a complaint. It's pretty soft for a flipping jig, but I would like to see maybe something a little bit thicker, but it doesn't matter because I don't really hang this thing up to begin with, which is surprising for the somewhat soft of a weed guard. So I gave these guys a try, and right off the bat, it really kind of just how it was moving through cover. You know, I was able to maneuver the jig. I was able to flip it and not hang up, not run into any issues. And then I started catching fish on it. And once I started catching fish on it, I compared it to how I was fishing other jigs and my hookup ratio. And my hookup ratio with these jigs were a lot higher. And, you know, it builds confidence. I mean, at the end of the day, you could fish any jig. You could go to Walmart and pick up an Arky style jig and you can catch fish on it. It's whatever's going to build confidence for you. For me, it's this jig. And to me, I've got the things that I like on it, and it makes it work for me. If you haven't tried it, I really think you should. I think you guys would really be impressed with the quality of the jig. I mean, I've got jigs, they've lasted. I still got jigs from when I first got them a year and a half ago, and they're awesome. What can I say? You need to get out, pick some up if you haven't, give them a try. I don't think you'll be disappointed. They're really, really good jigs. One thing that I seen in my jig journey, if you will, you know, a lot of different companies. Some of them are really kind of narrow in their color selection. Some have just a very vast color selection. And I found myself really gravitating towards only a few color selections. Most of what I fish is dirty water, so obviously the black and blue is my number one color. I always have an overabundance of black and blue jigs. I'll throw green pumpkin. I'll throw kind of like a peanut butter and jelly, purple brown color. I'll go somewhat of a crawl pattern, you know, your browns, orange. And that's typically what I use. It's what I have success with, and I don't really have to venture too far out. I'll sometimes, if I can find a little different variant, and like a black and blue, Missile Baits makes a jig color, Superbug, kind of black and blue, and a lighter kind of green chartreuse color on the bottom. That's another really good one. Or they'll do the Dill Pickle, which is green pumpkin on top, chartreuse on the bottom. Just something just a little bit different than your standard color that'll kind of help bring a little bit of attention to it. The next jig we've got is the Ike's Mini Flip jig. As you can see, it's compact, more of a finesse presentation. So, you know, when the bite's tough, this is what you're going to go to. You're going to put this thing on, you're going to put a small compact trailer. It's going to give you a nice small presentation. And when things are tough, this is your go-to. Again, it's going to have the same head design, kind of that ball head with that nice recessed line tie. This one's going to come with a Gamakatsu hook on it, and it's going to have the same weed guard. I don't really vary too far from either one of these. It's what I keep my tackle box full of when I'm using jigs anymore. With the amount of time that I've spent trying to go through and find that perfect jig for me, these have been it. You know, I really think you guys ought to give them a try. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Actually, I think you'll thank me for bringing this up, because you guys will start catching some fish. So check them out. They've got them on Tackle Warehouse. You can get them at Bass Pro. You can get them on Missile Baits website. Check them out. You know, I give them a try. That's all you can do. You know, maybe this whole time you've been searching for something and, you know, I need that jig that's just gonna do it for me. That's gonna help give me that confidence. This is gonna be it. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. So what am I gonna throw it on? Typically I'm throwing it on a 7'1" rod with a higher speed gear ratio. In fact, mainly what I'm throwing this on is going to be my St. Croix Tournament Legend Bass, 7'1", medium heavy, fast action. And then I've got a Daiwa Tatula 100 and an 8 1-to-1. And this is going to be kind of my standard jig setup. A rod that's got good sensitivity to when I'm flipping the jig, so that way I'm feeling the bites. And, you know, something that's going to help when I go to set the hook and really force them fish out of cover. You know, anywhere from a 7 foot to, you know, about a 7.2 rod, I think is going to get the job done. I mean, really, you can use anything, but that's just kind of what I use for it. So with that being said, that's it. Make sure you guys check them out. Stay tuned for good things to come on the channel. You know, like I said, I'm really excited about getting my oldest involved in a lot of these fishing videos. I know he's really excited about it, and you know, bringing him on board with me to kind of jumpstart this channel again, I think is going to be something great. So definitely hit up Tackle Warehouse, Bass Pro Shop, Missile Baits. Check you out some flipping jigs from Missile Jigs. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed.